Do you remember our story about Jacob and his 12 sons? Jacob had worked so hard to have a big, loving family. He had 12 boys who were all different and special in their own ways. Jacob loved all his sons very much. But as they grew up, sometimes brothers don't always get along perfectly. Today, we're going to hear about one of Jacob's sons, named Joseph, and the very special coat his daddy gave him. Joseph was 17 years old and had the most wonderful, colorful coat you could ever imagine. It had stripes of red like strawberries, blue like the sky, yellow like sunshine, and green like grass. Jacob had given this beautiful coat to Joseph because he loved him so much. Every morning, Joseph would put on his dreamy coat and help take care of his father's sheep and goats. Joseph was a kind boy who always tried to help his family. He would wake up early, stretch his arms up high, and say, "Good morning, God. Thank you for this beautiful day." Then he would put on his special coat and go out to the fields with his older brothers to watch the animals. The coat swished and swayed as he walked, making him feel happy and loved. But Joseph's older brothers started feeling upset when they saw his beautiful coat. "Why does Joseph get such a pretty coat?" they whispered to each other. "We work hard too." Their hearts began to feel heavy with jealousy, like dark clouds covering the sunshine. When Joseph would come near them wearing his colorful coat, they would turn away and not want to play with him. One day, Joseph had 2 very special dreams. In his first dream, he saw bundles of wheat in the field, and his bundle stood up tall, while his brother's bundles bowed down to his. In his second dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. Joseph was so excited about his dreams that he told his brothers and father all about them. But this made his brothers even more upset and jealous. The brothers' hearts felt twisted up inside like tangled yarn. They thought, "Joseph thinks he's better than us because of his fancy coat and his dreams." Their jealousy grew bigger and bigger, like a storm cloud getting darker and darker. Joseph felt confused and sad. He didn't understand why his brothers were being mean to him. All he wanted was to love his family and share the wonderful things God was showing him in his dreams. Even though Joseph felt sad about his brothers being mean, he remembered something important. Every night when he looked up at the twinkling stars, he felt God's love wrapping around him like a warm blanket. Deep in his heart, Joseph knew that God had a special plan for him, even if he couldn't understand it right now. One morning, Jacob asked Joseph to go check on his brothers, who were far away taking care of the sheep. Joseph put on his colorful coat, packed some food, and started walking across the hills, humming a little song to keep himself company. Joseph walked across the hills, humming a little song to keep himself company. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming from far away, wearing that bright, beautiful coat, their jealous feelings bubbled up again. "Here comes the dreamer," they said to each other with frowning faces. Their hearts had become so hard that they made a terrible plan. When Joseph reached them with his warm smile and the food he had brought, they grabbed him and took away his precious, colorful coat. Joseph felt scared and confused. "Why are you doing this?" he asked with tears in his eyes. But his brothers wouldn't listen to his gentle words. Just then, some traveling merchants came by with their camels loaded with sweet-smelling spices. Joseph's brother Judah had an idea that wasn't as mean as what the others wanted to do. "Let's sell Joseph to these merchants instead," he said. "Then he'll be safe, but he'll go far away." So the merchants bought Joseph and took him with them to a land called Egypt, far, far away from his home. Even though Joseph was scared and sad, riding on a camel toward an unknown place, he remembered his father's love and God's promises. He held onto the hope in his heart like holding onto a bright star in the darkness. God was with Joseph, even in this scary time, preparing something wonderful that Joseph couldn't see yet. As Joseph traveled toward Egypt, something amazing was happening. Even though he had lost his beautiful coat and was far from home, God's love was still covering him like an invisible, magical coat that could never be taken away. The merchants were kind to him, and Joseph began to feel a little bit of peace in his heart. Joseph looked up at the same stars he had seen at home and whispered, "God, I don't understand what's happening, but I trust that you love me and have a good plan." And indeed, God was already preparing wonderful things for Joseph in Egypt that would help many, many people someday. Tonight, remember that even when things seem scary or confusing, God's love covers you like the most beautiful coat you could ever imagine, one that no one can ever take away from you. Just like Joseph, you are precious to God, and He has wonderful plans for your life. Now close your eyes, little one, and feel God's love wrapping around you like the softest, warmest blanket. Dream sweet dreams of colorful coats and twinkling stars, knowing that God is watching over you all through the night. Good night, sweet child. Sleep tight until the morning light.